So the idea is that there are hidden beliefs which are causing you all kinds of distress in life, which are blocking you from achieving the things that you really want and generally making you much more miserable than you would otherwise be. But because they're invisible, you don't know about them. And that makes it really difficult to do anything differently. So I've proposed a way in which you can make them visible, and then a really simple process by which you can start to loosen things up and thereby start to experience some change. The process that I outlined is first to identify some of those hidden beliefs. And to do that, I suggested imagine that you are telling somebody else about whatever this situation is in which you experience the less than optimal state. And for most people, I think writing it down will be useful. You don't have to turn this into something long or unpleasant. Keep it simple. Just a few sentences will provide you with more than enough. Imagine how you would how you would describe it if you didn't know better. So don't try to be spiritual in your answer. Don't try and say things the right way. Don't try to cover up the things that you're really thinking or feeling. Just be honest about it, because this will help you the most, because then you're just going to really get to work with what's really going on. And then notice what are the things that would have to be true in order for those things to be true. So the things that you would say that you write down, what would have to be true for those things to be true? This is going to start to reveal the beliefs to you. So using the example that I gave, if I say I experience social anxiety when I'm around people who are not my family, and I imagine that they're judging me, and then I experience uncomfortable sensations, then what would have to be true in order for that to be true? Well, there would have to be people who there would have to be people. That's one, which is definitely a belief worth examining. Then there people are capable of judging. That's a belief worth examining. Judgments can affect me. That's worth examining. There are people who are not my family. That's a belief. I'm capable of recognizing and distinguishing between people who are my family and who are not my family. On and on, right? So you can identify what would have to be true in order for that to be true. And you can keep digging as deep as you want, because there could be multiple layers. So you could ask, of the beliefs that you identify, you could ask what would have to be true for that to be true. What kind of person would I have to be in order for that to be true? What kind of universe would I have to live in order for that to be true? What kind of universe would allow for that kind of thing to be true? You could come up with such a long list from just a single sentence, if you understand that process. Then I propose question those beliefs. So just question, is it true? How do I know that it's true? What's my evidence? Do I really know that that's true? And again, the point of the questioning is just to question, not to answer it. The temptation often will be to answer it, but again, it's just to question. So it's to open it up, just to reveal that the way that I have been looking at it is one way out of many. Might there be other plausible ways of understanding this? Yes, there might. So what this reveals is that the way that I have been looking at this, what I have been believing, is one possible meaning out of infinite meanings, none of which I can actually know are true, quite possibly because none of them are actually true. But I've been living my life as though this way that I've been looking at it was the only truth, as though that was reality. Therefore, that was my experience. And I didn't like my experience, so by questioning it, I can open myself up to infinite potential instead of being stuck in one meaning that I don't like. And then I've also proposed that it can be useful to also explore, how would I like to feel in this situation? So, using my example with this so-called social anxiety, I can say when I'm around people, regardless of whether I imagine that they are family or not family, whether I have thoughts that they are judging me or not judging me, how would I like to feel? And then just notice that. So this is more of an open exploration rather than, do step one, two, three, done. Did it work or not? It's more of just an open exploration. Probably the more that you explore lightly and briefly each of those steps, the better the results will be. Probably. You can test it out, see what gives you the best results. But probably if you try and figure out what are all the possible beliefs and you take several hours to list out all the possible beliefs that are there, and then you take hours to intensively question a belief, and then you try and you know you take half an hour to try and get into the feeling of what you would like. I don't think that's going to give you as good of results as just taking a moment with each step repeatedly, many times, making it a habit. Because if that becomes a habit, then this will start to just become automatic. And what you'll find is then you'll just start to automatically become aware of what you're believing that was previously hidden to you. You'll just start to automatically you'll become aware of it because you'll start to notice what would have to be true in order for what I'm saying to be true. And what kind of person would I have to be in order for that to be true? And what kind of universe would I have to live in order for that to be true? And how do I know that that's true? Is it even true? And what would I like instead? And you could just notice that that can start to happen really easily, lightly, quickly, over and over and over and over and over. And I think probably that you will be most satisfied with those results.